Welcome to Uncensored Conservatism. This is episode number 367, and today we're going to have another edition of Muslims Behaving Badly. This is my part 3, and other useful idiots out there. Anyway, let us start here. In Indonesia, where on at least 2 occasions Muslims have disrupted services of a Protestant group over there. The reason they disrupted it, according to authorities, is because the Protestants didn't have the proper permits to hold their services in the location where they held the services. This is an excuse given to disrupt Christian minorities in Muslim countries. 3 people got killed in Bangladesh. They were members of a minority group. The deaths were assisted by the police, the Bengali army, and Muslim settlers who wanted their land. 50 stores were also burnt in the attack. All right, this guy here on the right, there's Keir Starmer there on the left. He's an ex-mayor in England, originally from Bangladesh. His name is Muhammad Islam. He's now being accused of sending official and doctored letters to immigration officials in Great Britain to get 41 family members brought into the country over the years. You let them in, they want more. A Muslim ascetic was forcibly shaved in public by several men wearing gray vests. The incident happened earlier in the year. They claim they were just trying to clean the homeless man. Well, his son has now filed charges against the perpetrators. And we'll see where that goes. And he's called it a fakir, which is basically an ascetic. They don't shave, they let their hair grow and get matted and stuff like that. Apparently the man was also homeless. In India, a Muslim cleric was arrested by authorities after he was charged with raping a 14-year-old girl and getting her pregnant. He is 32 at the time. The assault happened in a mosque. The girl was attending a madrasa there. She didn't know she was pregnant until she complained of abdominal pains, was taken to the hospital, and it was discovered that she was pregnant. A 12-year-old in Pakistan was found dead under suspicious circumstances, according to authorities. The 12-year-old, check this out, was married to her 10-year-old cousin. And the marriage had lasted 6 months before she was found dead. Technically, child marriage is illegal in Pakistan, but it happens. In fact, in this particular province so far this year, there have been 18 cases of illegal child marriages. And who would have thought this one, but 3 transgender females, who I'm assuming are really males, were found killed outside Karachi in Pakistan. They were shot at close range, indicating it was a execution-style death, and then they were buried in shallow graves. A few days before, another transgender was wounded in a knife attack and hospitalized in Pakistan. All right, this is Asif Raza, a Christian who was engaged to be married next month, but now he's dead. He was attacked by 7 Muslim men on his way home one night and tortured to death. Basically, they kicked him to the ground and threw rocks and bricks at his head repeatedly. No motive in the attack, although, Muslim man attacking a Christian guy, I think there's your motive. In southwest Pakistan, a suicide bomber managed to kill 10 people and hurt or injure another 30 people in an attack on the paramilitary headquarters there. The explosive-laden vehicle was detonated and killed the driver, but 4 members with guns of the Islamic group with guns managed to break into the facility and kill even more people. In Afghanistan, a 75-year-old was shot for allegedly writing amulets. He was struck 3 times with bullets by the Taliban's Vice and Virtue Department. It doesn't look like he's going to survive that. Reports out of Afghanistan is that women are being forced into religious madrasas where they sit in the basement for 8 hours dressed in black from head to toe and write Quranic scriptures. In exchange for their attendance, they get food and aid from the Taliban. No attendance, no food, no aid. It's really nice of them. So there's actually 21,000 of these schools throughout Afghanistan as we speak. All right, this is Ali Daneshi, a Kurd who lives in Iran. He was sentenced to 4 months in prison for wearing a traditional Kurdish clothing at a Kurdish wedding. They take their clothing seriously in Muslim countries. Reports out of Gaza are that several females have been sexually exploited in exchange for humanitarian aid. So far, 6 women have come forward with their complaints, and some of the perpetrators are connected with a UN relief organization. And it's Palestinian Hamas members who are exploiting these girls and women for humanitarian aid, not the Israeli Defense Forces. Speaking of aid, the Greta Thunberg flotilla was turned back, and Israeli Defense Forces managed to capture and seize 40 ships in the flotilla, or boats, and guess what? All 40 had no aid. Israel announced that they intercepted a Houthi missile strike from Yemen. The Houthis claim the missile had a cluster bomb warhead. If so, then this is a dangerous escalation of hostilities. However, the Houthis did manage to set a Dutch-owned cargo ship on fire in the Gulf of Aden. Military assets are being dispatched to the boat to rescue the crew. They've been pretty quiet of late, but they got 1 missile through this time. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, Muslim insurgents killed 64 Catholics at a service for mourning the death of a parishioner. The method of death: they were either shot, hacked with machetes, and some had their heads beaten in with hammers. On their way out, they set their homes on fire just for good measure. 4 people have been killed in Mozambique by Islamic terrorists. The method of death: they were beheaded, decapitated, in their homes. 2 nights previous to this attack, 5 others have been killed in the same manner. ISIS-linked groups are claiming responsibility. A comedian and rapper was jailed in Turkey for comments he made on a popular YouTube show. He's being held for the comment that may be construed as insulting to Islam. The offending statement was, quote, "Wine is the mother of all evil," end quote. 4 Palestinians, members of a family in Sweden, have been arrested for kidnapping their daughter, who wanted to integrate into Swedish society and become a social worker there. She was 20 at the time. She was lured back to Gaza, but managed to escape back to Sweden. Her father texted that her head must be cut off if she wants to integrate into Swedish society. In Vienna, 10 Muslims, members of a gang, faced trial for raping a 12-year-old girl, Austrian girl. An 18-year-old had booked a hotel room for 3 nights. She was lured to the hotel room, and at least 10 of them took turns raping her. prosecutors admit that there was no evidence that they knew she was 12 at the time. Come on now. Anyway, based on the girl's testimony, the judge threw out the charges, and guess what? They were all released. However, another girl has now come forth and accused at least 2 of the members of the acquitted gang of forcing her into a building and forcing her to perform oral sex on them. So they may have gotten away with the 12-year-old girl, but not this one. We'll see. But then again, it is Austria. Okay, I guess this is how they handle family disputes in Turkey, but in Germany, 2 Turkish families got into a fight that left 1 dead and 5 seriously injured with stab wounds. In all, 30 people were involved before police managed to break up the fights. Now, Berlin managed to cancel performance by an anti-Semitic rapper in that city, but now the city is sponsoring an Islamic festival, and children as young as 7 will now be carrying Palestinian flags and chanting pro-Palestinian slogans where they hate the Jews and they hate Israel. In fucking Berlin, Germany, Holocaust. Make the connection. In Frankfurt, this man was caught on video harassing several women, asking them to have sex with him, being rebuffed. Somebody called the police and he was arrested. The police immediately released him, citing the fact that he was suffering psychological distress. 2 Syrians in Dresden, Germany have been arrested for yet another sexual assault in the train station there. They're accused of raping a Czech tourist. Here's the kicker. The Czech tourist was a dude. They raped a dude. I guess they were homosexual Syrians. I don't know. In France, a migrant from Sudan was attempting to molest women on the street, whereupon several onlookers broke up the attempted molestation. And what's a good Sudanese guy to do? He goes back to his apartment or whatever, came back with a knife and stabbed 3 people to death. And he's now on trial over there for a triple homicide. A Muslim couple attacked a father and daughter in a train station in France. They were on their way to a K-pop concert at the time. The Muslim, they shouted that they didn't like the fact that the girl was wearing a short skirt and called her a dirty little whore and said they were going to kill the father. Well, anyway, the dude was sentenced to 8 years in jail for the attack, and his partner, Cassandra, was sentenced to 5 years in jail. Now, this is a pretty town in France where an Afghan migrant raped to death an 80-year-old woman. He had arrived in France in the 2005. Injuries to her internal organs were so bad that she succumbed to the injuries. He's been charged with rape resulting in death without intent. I guess he just needed to deposit his sperm in an 80-year-old woman. What a fucking sick people these are. Another Afghan is on the run in France after he murdered his ex-wife, who worked for a pro-migrant group. He previously has said that the Taliban were his heroes. By the way, there were 6 prior criminal complaints against him before he killed his ex-wife. Bengali parents are in trial in Italy after they lured their daughter back to Bangladesh and forced her into a marriage with a relative who was 20 years older than she at the time. They, along with her new husband, drugged her in order to get her impregnated. She managed to escape back to Italy, and the dumbass parents then returned to Italy also. They have been in Italy since 2011. They now find themselves under arrest for kidnapping. I don't know. Elsewhere in Florence, Italy, two Jewish American tourists were attacked and beaten with a belt by somebody yelling, "Free Palestine, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." The idiot also filmed it. He's now under arrest. But in Italy, Israeli cyclists have been barred from a race there after threats of protests against their attendance. Less than a month ago, they were barred in Spain also from participating in a cycling race. Spanish authorities announced that they managed to break up a fraud network where false documents or marriages of convenience were used illegally to obtain residency for Muslim migrants. The Muslim migrants had to pay for the services. They're enterprising anyway. Meanwhile, leaked phone calls in the Catalonia area of Spain noted that police are afraid to go to certain areas run by Muslim migrant gangs. They're called no-go zones. They're a problem in Sweden at one time. I think they cracked down on them now. They told one resident that they couldn't respond, that the Muslims will just laugh at them, and they never came out. A Moroccan in Spain, Moroccan Muslim, was arrested for the rape of a 14-year-old. Turns out he claimed he was 17 years old. Biometric evidence said that he might have been older. Now he found out that he was 23 at the time. And he had 14 prior convictions, ranging from burglary to robbery to an assault on an officer. Yet he was walking free around in Spain when he raped a 14-year-old when he was 23. I guess he didn't know she was 14. Anyway, he's now being tried as an adult. A knife brawl broke out outside a mosque in central London recently. It was actually ended when a car plowed into the group of over 30 people or something like that. Two of them were stabbed before police arrived. Okay, this is Dr. Rameh Aladwan. And she's really a pro-Palestinian doctor who works for the National Health Service over there in England. She said that the attacker on the synagogue in Manchester was a Palestinian martyr. She's also compared Israel and Jews to Nazis and made several social media posts. Well, guess what? She's been cleared of any wrongdoing over there, and it didn't rise to the level of bullying or harassment. The head of the NHS National Health Service in England says that obviously some Jews may be afraid of seeing her as a doctor. If I was Jewish, I would too. God knows what kind of shot she's giving you. But no bullying, no wrongdoing. Just move along, folks. Wouldn't want to offend a Muslim in fucking England anyway. Okay, yeah, you're reading this right. An asylum seeker raped a schoolgirl 15 in an alleyway before boasting of the attack to his friends. He was 35 at the time, and he said he had never fucked a pussy like that before. Yeah, I guess so. One would hope that you never screwed a 15-year-old before, but he did. But anyway, he's now on trial in England, and more has come out where he said that he was going to kill the girl and bring her body back as a sex doll. So this is all in text messages and comments to friends. And this guy's got some serious problems besides being a rapist here, and or pedophile, whatever he is. All right, people in England are getting pretty pissed off about some of this stuff. An Algerian migrant over there staying in a 3-star hotel this guy was the leader of a gang that stole stuff from city workers and led a pickpocket ring in London. Like I said, he was put up at a 3-star hotel by the government over there. You may have heard about the attack on the synagogue in Manchester on Yom Kippur. Police are saying that they have no motive in the attack. Okay, the dude's name is Jihad. He's from Syria. I think we know what the motive is. It's Yom Kippur. It's a synagogue. He's Muslim. He killed Jews. I think we all know what the motive is here. Jesus Christ. Come on, England. Closer to home, this imam in Windsor, Ontario, said that Hassan Nasrallah, who was vaporized by Israel a year ago, she praised the Hezbollah leader, and she wants young Muslims to pick up the cause and, I guess, join Hezbollah. I don't know. In the United States, this imam called for the death of Benjamin Netanyahu when he attended the UN General Assembly speech that he gave, referring to Netanyahu as Satan. I thought the United States was a great Satan. Okay, a Christian pastor at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport heard an announcement over the loudspeakers about a chapel service there where all were welcome. He had attended a funeral there. He's a somewhat famous Southern Baptist preacher, so he decided he would go to the chapel, where he was barred from entering because Muslims were in there with a prayer on their prayer rugs with their butts up in the air, praying toward Mecca or whatever. So I guess all weren't welcome after all. And finally, at some Muslim convention or Arab convention, whatever, in Dearborn, Michigan, there's a surprise. A panel was asked whether they condemned the October 7th, 2023 Hamas attack on Israel, whereupon they all burst out in laughter about it and refused to condemn the attacks. What they did, they changed the subject to condemning Israel and the United States for their genocide and imperial wars. One even said he would never condemn Palestinian resistance to Israel, which I guess Palestinian resistance is murder, rape, and kidnapping now. Gotta love them. Anyway, and that's Dearborn, Michigan. Anyway, you gotta love them. I'll keep these coming about Muslims behaving badly and they're useful idiots here in the United States and elsewhere in the world. And that's it for today. Thanks. Have a great day. More pleasure tomorrow.